the data from here is going to be substituted in, so it will look now like this. What we can then do, so the data's been substituted in through these variables. What we can then do is we run this query, and it returns us either 0 rows or 1 row, depending on if the username and the password match. So hopefully you understand that at this point. Now, what happens if the user was to enter some values that actually modify our SQL query, which is here? So, for example, let's say the username was single quotation mark equals single quotation mark or 2 quotation marks equals quotation mark. Let's just say the user entered that as the username, and they did the same for the password. So because they're free to enter anything in the form, we've picked up these variables using this, and now we're transferring these variables into here. So now username, let's just copy and paste over, that to there, and copy and paste that over to there. Now let's get rid of this because that just showed us the example. So the username is now equal to this value here, and the password is also equal to this value in blue. So let's just look at the highlighted value in blue. What this has actually done, if I take the blue away, you can see it's modified our SQL statement. So obviously our users of our website can't see what we're processing inside of PHP, but what they can do is fiddle around with the website until they can make a very good guess, or an exact guess, at how our SQL statement is structured. Now what this query reads is select ID from users where username equals nothing, or nothing equals nothing, and password equals nothing, or nothing equals nothing. Now nothing equals nothing, so that's true, and nothing equals nothing, so that's true. Therefore what we're doing is we're returning a row, or a couple of rows. So let's copy and paste this into our database to see what results we get. Let's click go. Okay, so we've been returned with our 2 rows in our database, or our 2 records rather. So what we've actually done is, just by user input and me demonstrating user input, we're going to actually create the application later. What we've done is we've returned 2 rows now. So we've entered the password as this let's just go back to it. We've entered the password as this here, or the username as this here, and the password as this here, and we've now automatically gained access to this whatever registration system, however we're creating it. So this isn't always the case, it depends on how it's programmed. This is why we're going to go through an example program. So that's just basically a bit about PHP or SQL injection in general, but with PHP obviously it's the same vulnerability. So now we know what SQL injection is, and we've seen an example of it. You know now that a statement can be modified, and a statement can be modified to, let's say, delete records. We're not going to go into anything too complex. This is just a representation of it, but we can do absolutely anything we want to our database, more or less. So I'm going to talk now just about the first way to protect against SQL injection. This doesn't actually prevent the user input. We're not doing anything in PHP. But if we go back to our home and we go to privileges and we edit privileges for our user, let's say root at localhost. This is what I'm using at the moment. Now you can see here that we've got ticks for absolutely everything. Now let's say we were creating a website and we were logging in, we were connecting to our server, and we were also connecting to our database and reading values from a database. Let's just say we were just reading values from a database. We're not creating anything, so we might want to untick that. We might not be altering anything, so we might untick that. So you can uncheck things that you might not want to do. So we might select, but we might not insert, and we might not update or delete, and we can get rid of all of these. So by getting rid of all of these, we've already limited our privileges for this specific user. Therefore, if someone was to come in and try to inject or change your statement server side to, say, delete your entire database, then they might not be able to do it because you may have unselected the privileges. So at the moment, because I'm working on a local computer, my privileges are set to everything, just in case, depending on what I need to do. So that's one way that you can protect against it. So only select the privileges that you absolutely need on the website. So if it's very rare that inside a web application you'd want to say drop your entire database. So you can remove this, or drop tables. You might need to drop tables. But you can untick specific ones. So that's something to think about while we carry on with our actual PHP code.